Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today in our program, The Atheist.Centre UNBOUND by CAGES, written by Jim Herrick, I am going to read out you the chapter Secular Social Work of Atheist.Centre, and I am going to continue from the last episode now. The so-called shepherd schools were instituted. Many children spent their day looking after cattle, sheep, goats, and working in rice mills and quarries. The family did not want loss of income from the child spending the day at a school, so education volunteers followed the children around and gave basic education to the children who were working. This was very beneficial and in many cases led to whole families seeking education. Education brought social change in many ways. Social work was sometimes supported by aid agencies and sometimes carried out in tandem with government programs. Education brought social change in many ways. Social work was sometimes supported by aid agencies and sometimes carried out in tandem with government programs. Primary schools for early education were set up in the Lambada tribal hamlets. ASM, that means Atheist.Centre Mandal, supplemented government work with the training of teachers and donating educational aids and toys. Because there was no written language in the Lambada culture, songs and art were used at first, then the Lambada primer was produced, a pioneering work. Provisions were provided for rural schools. Uniforms were thought to enable the poor to avoid going to school in low standard clothing, thus preventing stigma. Cycles were provided for children to travel to schools in rural areas. Fees for higher education were given so that the young could advance to a successful career. Education aid such as charts, blackboards, maps ensured that schools were well equipped. Solar lamps enabled work to continue during electricity cuts or during darkness. The aim was to produce a child-centered education. Children were encouraged to talk about the world around them, gender equality, poverty, development, etc. Children's committees were set up to increase understanding of what changes could be brought about and to develop leadership abilities. ASM children were representatives on the seminar on universal birth registration and on a tribal convention in Visakhapatnam. It should be emphasized that education had a beneficial effect on parents as well as children. ASM followed two principles. The child should never be taken from its family and there should always be periods of play between lessons. Human rights for children has been considered of key importance for creating equality and a satisfactory life. ASM worked in cooperation with the range of religions in the region and with those donors which were religious. This was entirely amicable except in one rare case where a group of children were taken to a convent hostel and good relations were only restored after a period of time. Health and hygiene were seen as an important adjunct to schooling. Lavatory, not laboratory, became repeated. The practice of child marriage, which sometimes harmed the child's education, was opposed by ASM. When a child of 10 marries someone 10 years older, unhappiness can issue. Early pregnancies can lead to health problems. The young girl might have no choice in her consort. Rural life could be hard and help was given with agricultural training, seed bank development and diversifying the produce grown into valuable products such as chilies, maize, groundnut and black gram. A fishing trade was continued successfully, but there was also success in reclaiming underwater land for diverse produce. Irrigation systems were developed with much improvement in growing. With weaving, an old craft was developed. The homes where the weavers lived were changed so that there was no working in inundated water and so that the cloth created was improved with new designs. Book binding, composing type, and processing handmade paper are also crafts which succeeded. It is still difficult to make a profit with some crafts. Sustainability is an essential part of the ASM program. Micro-lending and saving as recommended by Kumar led to financial resources for difficult times and for steady improvement. ASM children sometimes went forward to develop a professional career thus able to support their families and to contribute to their experience to society at large. The most formidable obstacles for Atheism was superstition and the caste system. Fatalism could lead to a feeling that there is no hope of progress, and superstition resulted in the lack of awareness of the power to create a satisfactory life for oneself and for society. A highly original contribution to the desire for equality was found in Gora's suggestion that flowers should be replaced by vegetables. This was not just symbolic, although, as often with Gora, an idea and a symbol popularized his aims. Flowers in public gardens or in garlands at ceremonies could easily be replaced by vegetables. As Gora said, lone ornamental flower plant replaced by one vegetable plant pulls out one stone from the structure of economic injustice. As ever with Gora, a change of outlook is required. The problems for untouchables were different in cities. When a group of Harijan people were evicted from their huts in the city, Gora called for them to be given land to live on. This was refused, as was most land redistribution, and Gora encouraged them to settle beside the road, which was illegal. But Gora was no stranger to law breaking when he thought the law was wrong. Atheist.Centre Mandal has found it necessary to consider some change in its policy, as international donors have directed their resources in other directions and government activity in social issues has increased. Gora stated succinctly the link between social work and atheism. Reality, social outlook, and development of individual personality is the quintessence of atheism. Even more succinct was the popularized greeting, Jai Insan. And here ends the chapter of secular social work, and in our next episode, I shall read out you regarding chapter of a healthy life. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram channels, which crossed 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.
Please download Samaram Channels app from Google Play Store and watch your favorite channels. Click the bell icon and subscribe to the channels.